Welcome back to the show. Today, I want you to slow down for a moment. Take a breath. Because the story we're stepping into isn't just about music, or fame, or charts. It's about survival. It's about a man who was pushed so far into the dark that the idea of ever returning to the light felt impossible. A man who was misunderstood, misdiagnosed, dismissed, ignored, for years. And yet, somehow, he came back. Not quietly, not softly, but with an album so raw, so painfully honest, that it shook the entire music industry awake. This is the story of Ren Gill, and how sickness became both his curse and his catalyst, and how the honesty he refused to bury became the reason an independent artist beat the entire machine. So settle in, because this one hits deep. Years. This went on for years, and all this time, Ren kept trying to make music. There's a story, almost unbelievable, that during studio sessions with his band, he was so sick he threw up blood between takes. He'd step out of the vocal booth, disappear into the bathroom, and then walk right back in like nothing happened. That isn't dedication. That's desperation. That's a man clinging to the last piece of himself that the illness couldn't touch. His art. But the collapse eventually came. His body shut down so badly that he spent almost every hour of the day in bed, alone, in silence. And out of that isolation, that kind of forced exile, something changed in him. The world outside moved on. The industry moved on. Friends moved on. But Ren stayed there, still, in the quiet. And it was in that stillness that his music evolved into something darker, sharper, realer, something painfully honest. Fast forward to 2015. After a decade of hell, someone finally gives him the diagnosis that should have been made years earlier. Lyme disease advanced, deep inside his nervous system, a wildfire that had been burning unchecked. And with that truth finally uncovered, Ren started rebuilding himself piece by piece. From Brighton, from his bedroom, from pain. He recorded alone, edited alone, wrote everything alone. Every lyric carved out of trauma, every melody soaked in exhaustion and fury and hope. And then came Hi Ren. The first time you watch it, it almost feels uncomfortable, like you're witnessing a private argument with himself that you were never meant to see. Two Rens, two voices, two realities. Fighting, accusing, blaming, begging. It is not a music video. It's a breakdown filmed with a guitar. It's art so honest it hurts. It wasn't made for virality. It wasn't packaged for the algorithm. But the video exploded anyway. Because people don't crave perfection. They crave truth. And Ren gave them truth without a filter. Hi Ren spread like wildfire. Millions of views, awards, reaction videos from every corner of the world, people crying to a stranger's pain because they felt their own reflected back at them. And then, the movement began. In 2023, Ren was sick again. He flew to Canada for a brutal, experimental medical treatment. No stage, no studio, no signings, no interviews. He was completely absent. And while he was hooked to IV lines, his fans formed an army. Not a fan base, an army. They were organizing spreadsheets, bulk buying physical albums, coordinating downloads, teaching each other how chart points worked. Indie fans transformed into strategists overnight, because they knew that Ren couldn't do it himself. Sick Boy hit #1 in the UK. An independent artist who couldn't even stand on a stage beat Drake and Troye Sivan in the same week. Think about what that means. No PR team, no label, no radio machine, just honesty, and a community built from pain and trust. Ren dedicated the #1 position entirely to them, and he meant it. Sick Boy isn't just a title. It's literal. It's the name the world gave him. It's what doctors reduced him to. It's what years of misdiagnosis carved into his identity. But it's also what he weaponized. He turned illness into story, story into art, art into connection, and connection into revolution. And he never lost his DIY mindset. Never forgot the kid he used to be. Film a video without money? Sure. Grab a high-vis jacket and pretend you're allowed to be there. Shoot a whole visual project with 2 phones and a dash cam. Why not? Creativity over cash. Every single time. Ren's music sits in that strange place between tragedy and rebellion. Between despair and hope. Between the body that betrayed him and the voice that saved him. And he keeps pushing. The Asylum show in 2024, his first solo performance in 5 years, was a masterpiece about isolation versus sanctuary. He's releasing new projects, new collaborations, new visions, and his next album, Slaughterhouse, dives even deeper, darker, cyberpunk, B-horror, experimental, uncomfortable, because Ren doesn't make art to soothe you. He makes art to wake you up, and maybe that's the secret. Maybe connection comes from not making people comfortable. Maybe honesty works because it cuts. Maybe the best art lives exactly where the edges are sharpest. Ren proves something rare. That truth, even when it's ugly, is magnetic. That vulnerability isn't weakness. That pain, when shared openly, becomes a bridge instead of a prison. His story isn't about a sick boy. It's about a man who refused to die quietly. And maybe that's why he won. Here's how it works. Simple to use, with powerful results. From concept to creation, it's all right at your fingertips. So as we close today, I want to leave you with this. Ren didn't reach the top by being flawless. He reached it by being fearless. By showing every scar, every crack, every failure, every moment he broke apart, and the world didn't turn away. It leaned in. Maybe that's the lesson. Not just for artists, but for all of us. We don't need to be polished. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be real, even if the truth is uncomfortable. And somewhere out there, someone will hear your story and feel a little less alone. Thanks for listening. And remember, sometimes the strongest voice comes from the darkest place. Until next time.